All right, welcome to our Grand River Woodturners Guild. Our March meeting. We're finally getting back to doing a live one, our second live meeting in probably 2.5 years. Let's see, we want to welcome any new members. I've met a couple new ones here. If you got any new members online, we welcome you. Let's see. I guess I want to go through some of the benefits of becoming a member of this guild. If you're watching this online later, let's see. I don't have the thing here that shows my email address. You'll have to go into the comments of this video and click on the email address that you would like to be a member of this guild and be more involved with our meetings. If you're here, we have lots of benefits for being a member of this group. We have supplies. We got a supplies table outside there. We got coffee and donuts outside there. Pardon me? Oh, okay. We have a library out back with DVDs and books that you can check out and take home and bring back, when you're done looking at them. We have a sharpening station, so if you have tools, I can turn that off. So we have a Wolverine setup outside in the back room here. If you brought in your tools and you want sharpened, I've seen them back there sharpening some tools today. So there's somebody around here if you don't know how to use it. We have lots of people here that can help you out with sharpening tools. We also have mentorship. If you're in the area here, we have several mentors. They're listed in our newsletter. We're happy to have somebody come out to our shop for a few hours and help you out with what issues you're having. You just need to let us know, and somebody is pretty willing to let you come in and work with you on that. So those are some of the benefits for becoming a member. Right now, our membership is $35, and that's for the year 2022. If you're a family membership, we can do that for $45. So that is that's everything on our regular business at the top. Today's our demonstration was supposed to be Ron Campbell doing carbide tools, and he had a giveaway and all that, and he had a family emergency and was unable to do this. So I haven't had a chance to speak with him, but I'm sure his demonstration is just postponed and not canceled. So we'll probably see him later on this year as his things settle down at his house.
Ron had some family emergency. He's not there anyway.
Yeah, that was what I said, I think. Yeah, he's got a family emergency. So hopefully we will see him later on this year doing his demonstration. Tom Sampson has stepped up to help us out with do a demonstration, and he'll be doing skew and I don't know. Whatever you want to ask, he'll do whatever he wants. I didn't clarify with him what his demonstration is going to be, but I guarantee you'll learn something, because every time I watch him, I learn something. This year, our Festival of the Arts, downtown Grand Rapids, they do Festival of the Arts first weekend in June. It's June 3rd through 6th. Some of the guys here have a sales tent table, and if you would like to be involved with that to sell your stuff, you need to contact Tom Penniga, sitting in the front row here. They'll work out. I mean, we bought the table, or they bought the table, but they'll charge you for whatever space you're going to use. If you just want to bring down 3 items, they'll figure out what that's going to cost and charge you for your share. They'll be there. There'll be several people at this tent that'll help you break you into the world of selling yourself. If you've never done it before, this is a great opportunity to get into the world of doing sales, art sales, and stuff like that. That's kind of how I got started. It was a huge step for me to move forward on that. So if you are interested in that and you've got some stuff that you're thinking, I need to figure out how to sell this, get a hold of Tom. Sit here in the front row. Otherwise, if you don't talk to him today, if you're online, you can get our newsletter. His name, his phone number, and his email are all stated in the newsletter. So check that out if you're interested in being in the Festival of the Arts. Our guild, our guild in November, we turned gavels for a National Adoption Day here in Kent County, and our little project, we forwarded an article to the AAW magazine, and we're in the current issue of the AAW magazine as a guild group doing this. In response to that, I got a letter that I wanted to read. And it states, the article in the American Woodturner referencing the gavels turned by your club for the Kent County Circuit Court was maybe the most inspiring outreach effort I've ever heard of. Hats off to you and your club, as well as Holly Hernandez, she's from the Kent County system, for coming to your club with the idea. What a great remembrance for those who were officially adopted. Thanks you for sharing with the AAW, as it's my hope it will serve as a catalyst for similar endeavors by other clubs and my club. Roger Domia from Rocky Mount, North.
Hey, Doug, you're muted, buddy. Can you turn your sound back on? That's my fault. You're still muted, Doug. If you can turn your mic on Zoom.
I think.
How's that? Are we back?
You're back.
Okay.
Thank you.
They did. Somebody online there. It's easy to do. Trust me, it's easy to do that. You're trying to mute somebody else and the changes and you hit the wrong one.
Yep.
So let's see. That was the letter for the Cavals. Today we're going to do for show and tell. We'll have a special raffle for everybody online who participates in show and tell and the President's Challenge. So hopefully online you guys have your stuff. We were unable to share photographs from here. So I know, Alfred, you sent me photographs. I'm so sorry, Alfred, that I'm not going to be able to present the photographs you sent me. And I was trying to respond to your email last night, and I just didn't have time. So hopefully you've got your item there that you sent me pictures of. So that you can
Yes, I do.
You do. Good. Very much. Because we can see and we can hear you guys. So don't be bashful. Don't feel like you're not part of this meeting. We're all looking at you, and you know, when we do show and tell, we're going to be able to see everything just like if we were online doing it. Let's see, we have some boxes of wood that were in our supply stores. We put them on our raffle table. That's another one of the benefits I forgot to mention here. I got to write that down. Our raffle table. We have some stuff from Larry Truss Estate. He passed last summer and donated a bunch of wood. So we have some boxes of wood on the table, and I think we also have some in the sales table too outside here. So I have that on here, and that's probably the last time I will mention that. I think that's everything I have before we go into show and tell, unless there's something I'm missing here. Anybody got anything that we need to talk about?
Hey,
Yeah.
Doug, how about the presentations?
How about what?
He just disappeared.
Maybe he was asking about how to get a better internet cable.
Hey, wait a minute. Here he's coming back.
Upcoming presentations?
He's coming back. He clicked himself out.
Okay. Okay, one thing I said, we Treasurer's Report is available online if you get our newsletter that's always attached to it. So you can see that. What else did somebody say?
How
Yes,
about the
go.
list of presentators we got coming? Can you hear me?
Okay,
Can you hear
today
me,
at 1
Doug?
o'clock. Okay, hang on online 1 second. We got two conversations going here. Joe wanted to let us know that 1 o'clock today, Woodcraft here in Grand Rapids has a demonstration on epoxies. Okay, online. Who's got the question online?
John Singleton, come on, bud. It's your turn.
John Singleton, I think it's you.
Hey, yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hey, I was wondering about the future presentators we got, demonstrators.
Wants to know about the future demonstrators.
Yeah, we have Dave Curley lined up in September to do one. We have Ron coming back on, and those are the only two that are somewhat set in stone. So right now it's a little open. We're working on it.
You sent out a letter last year when you raised up the dues to say that it was to cover the professional presenters that we were doing.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
wondering about that. We haven't had, last year we had quite a few. This year, I mean, if we raise the dues to keep that going, you said, we haven't had any.
Yes, we haven't got any lined up this year. We're working on it. Joe, I don't want to throw anybody on the bus, but Joe Spries has been out of town with the death of his sister and something else going on. He has not been available to work on that, but we're working on it. So there, we will have some professionals coming up.
We're back. This is Joe. We're back at it, Doug. I've
Okay.
I've had contact with 5 presenters, and so we're trying to work something out here in the next, hopefully to have our first professional presenter for April.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So hopefully that answers your question, John. Okay. We have somebody else in the room here. Their hand up. Steve, right there in the corner. Yeah, I should have said it earlier. If you are here and you want to be a member, see Steve on our break, and he'll get you taken care of. Okay. Which club? Oh, the wood carvers. Okay. Okay, glad to have you with us. Okay, yeah, in case online you didn't hear that, he's a member of the Wood Turners Club, or Wood Carvers Club, and has been looking for us, so he'll be a new member here. Anything else here before we move into show and tell? Okay, let's do show and tell, and if you're online, we ask you to go to the bottom of your screen, and there's a reactions button down there next to participants and chat. Click on reactions, and in there is a little button where you can click raise hand. We sure would like you to do that online. It makes it a lot easier for Bruce to find you. He's running our online part of this. So if you could please do that, look for your reactions, open it up, raise your hand, and there's a button to click to raise your hand. If you are in the room here, we ask you to line up around the outside towards the table here to pick up your stuff, and then we'll bring it up here and do demonstrations. Do you have hands up there, Bruce? Do you want to get started?
I got 2 people with their hands up. You want to start with them?
Yep, we'll start with them. And there is a special raffle just for the online people. We have a Woodcraft gift certificate for the online participation. So everybody who gets in that, we're going to throw your name into a raffle here and draw it.
So Charlie Fuentes has had his hand up for a while. Charlie, you ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right, hang on, let me spotlight you. There you go.
Yeah, just a simple cherry bowl that I've made recently. Got my lathe working again here in Arizona, and just so you know, it's 5:30 in the morning here. So
Well, you like to get up early.
here I did, just for you guys. So cherry bowl. Love working on cherries. Got a simple, my favorite Poly Pro finish.
Wow.
I liked it. So
Is that more of that wood that you brought with you?
yes, yeah, I did bring this with me. Yeah.
When you gonna turn some of that Arizona wood?
I actually, last month I went to the meeting and I won a large piece of juniper. It's got a huge crack right through the middle. I don't have a bandsaw to trim it down. So I'm working on that.
Hey, Charles, what finish do you have on that piece?
I only have about maybe 4 or 5 coats of polyurethane on.
Oh, polyurethane. Did you spray it or did you?
Most of it, just a paper towel or rag. Yeah.
Okay.
I do it. I always finish on the lathe. I think it's easier. You can slow the speed down to like 50 RPMs and just gently put it on with a rag.
Yeah, hand rubbed. Okay.
So
That's
Charlie,
it for me.
with that polyurethane, do you have to sand in between coats or what do you have to do?
Sometimes if you get a little drip or something, I'll use some 400 or 600 to take it out, put another coat on, but generally I use steel wool, the 4/0
Yeah.
steel wool, just to
Are
give
you-
it a little bite.
Mhm.
Hey, Charles, are you diluting the polyurethane like 60/40 or something like that, or is it straight?
Pretty much straight. Yeah, I use the Minwax, what they call it, wipe on poly.
Oh, the white one. Okay, that's already diluted by itself. Okay.
Yeah.
So Alfred, you're up next if you're ready.
Yeah.
There you are.
Yeah. Morning, everybody. This is a box I turned. It's a simple box.
Hold the box a little higher, Al.
Yeah.
There you go. Beautiful.
And that's the inside. It's cherry. And what I wanted to talk more is not the box, because it's the beads are hand turned too. I didn't use a beading tool. I just used my detail spindle gouge to do that. But I wanted to talk a bit about the Celtic Knot. There's two different ones. One is up here on the top and one on the side.
Wow.
And it looks hard, but it's really not that hard when you're doing it on a flat surface. The problem comes when you're doing it on something that's round, because this diameter here is actually a lot bigger than here when you're on a round, because it's creasing on itself.
Yeah.
So that tends to be a problem. Besides that, it's really so small that any mistake, you have to have a really static hand with no coffee in the morning when doing this, because I use a skew when I'm doing the outline of it. I use a skew on a very low heat, and if I have to, I will do it twice. But just to explain a bit how I get to that, to do the Celtic Knot, it's you draw it. I don't get downloaded. I just draw it. It's a simple. You just do a square, dots, and then you do a round in the middle, and then it's a matter of connecting the dots from one to the other one. So that's a simple one, how it starts. Then you can go, these are two different ones, one with the rounded corners and the other one was with a straight corner. But it's all, the basic setup is all the same. It's how you join the lines from one corner to the other. It's what makes the difference. Like here, that's another one there. And you can also do a corner like that. So it's like having two straight, but one is horizontal and the other one is vertical, and you join the corners. And there is another one like it, and it's all, as I said. Then you can do the polar ones. This is round. And what I do is I download from the internet polar graphs versus, the square graph. This is a polar. And so once you do one, it's really easy. You can adapt it to whatever you want by changing the scale on your printer. So like for doing that box, what I did when I did the linear one, which is straight, I calculated the circumference of my box, and I did one and I scaled it that when it goes all the way around, I'm gonna get a complete circle without them. That when you put them together, they're gonna match, not overlapping or have a gap in between. And you do that by on your printer by changing the scale,
Sure.
like instead of 50, make it 52 until you get it to match. So that's how I did the linear one. Now to do the circular one, again, it's the same one, the one on the top. That's how this is done. I did this one, and it started from a big one. And I went on the printer and I kept, minimizing it until I got what I wanted, that I thought it would fit right. And that's where it is.
So Alfred, how do you transfer that image to the wood?
Yes, I use carbon paper. I put it on there and I put carbon paper, and then I go with a pencil. I just go on top and trace it.
I know.
Very lightly. And then, it's not gonna be 100% clear. And then once I have a clear image here, then I go with the pencil and I mark it. And then I start with my skew burning, and I start doing the outlet.
You tape your pattern down first? You
Pardon?
tape your pattern down?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tape the pattern. This one is harder, as I said, because at the top here, towards the middle, towards the center here, it's smaller, so it wants to cringe on top of each other.
Yeah.
But you can cut a bit, and you can fix it. And then after you do that, then you do the outline, and then you do the shading of it.
Cool. Awesome amount of work.
Yeah, it is,
Very-
but it's
Very nice.
therapeutic, to tell you the truth. It's like, when you're carving something, it's therapeutic. And I thought that would be a nice way how you can, you have a simple box, which is nothing special, but at the same time, you can enhance it and make it, give it that wow factor, So.
Very nice. Very nice.
And you do the shading on it, and then the shading, you have this is a bit critical because one goes on top and then underneath, on top, underneath. So you have to keep in mind and be conscious of where you're going to shade.
Yeah. You don't want to shade the wrong one.
Exactly.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay, Doug, there's your demo. I guess you can adjourn the
That's it?
meeting now.
Okay. Everybody in this room, if you're in show and tell, get behind me. Line up here, and we'll move through our stuff here. Yeah. This is a hollow form that I made. I might have showed this online. I don't know if I had it done yet. This is the top that I made for our demonstration a couple months ago. But yeah, this is probably, I think the hollow form is 16 inches tall. I got the wood from Mark Zettel. I don't know if Mark's in the room or not. And he came out when I turned it. He'd wanted to see me turn a deep hollow form in the process I use. So that's mine with a spiral top. The top doesn't really match the bottom. It just fits, so I put it on there. I'll make a dark one for this actually when I go to use it. But for now, that's a good resting place for it.
Very nice. Can't hear George.
We can't hear him.
I don't think your mic's on.
Set them.
Check 1, 2.
Yeah.
Okay. What it is, just old bandsaw blades that are bent like this, and you use them for setting your stuff on when you're finishing them, rather than painter's points or a board that's got a bunch of nails or something in it. You get almost no mark in it when you're done, when you set it on there, even if you set a wet piece on there, way less than you would with a painter's point or something like that. And it's really nothing. They're easy to store. You can put a whole bunch of together and hang them on a hook, and that's about it.
Hey, George. George,
As long as you don't get down like an 1/8 inch or something like that. But, and probably the coarser the teeth, the better.
The question was, do you use brand new blades for that, George? And of course, we all know the answer.
he might.
Bought a brand new carbide tip bandsaw and cut it up into pieces.
Great tip from George.
Hi, I'm Dan Quick, and I'm turning bowls a little bit more now, and I love the finish that Doug showed out, the museum finish, and I use all my old stuff has now got it on it.
What's the wood?
Excuse me. Name's Tom Sampson. I'm demonstrating today. This is my, this is not what I'm demonstrating today, but a first foray for me into epoxy work. And my thought here was, you know, there's a lot of times you get burl and stuff that's just cracked, and you know, it's not really safe to turn. So you can see some of this. You know, it's got huge gaps in there, which make really nice, you know, fill in for epoxy. So playing around with this, you know, I could talk about this for an hour, I suppose, but the process I went through was starting with putting it in a cylinder, and then well, it's really close there. Well, hold on. So yeah, so you could use a pressure pot, I guess, and I ended up going with a slower set epoxy because first of all, you can't do it upside down when your air bubbles get trapped. So then I switched processes to have the piece of wood with the top up then. So then I formed, if you can picture this, a cylinder, so I'm not wasting a lot of epoxy. So I hollowed out the insides a little bit, kind of to the, you know, maybe the depth of where the gaps were. If there's gaps lower, I might have filled that in first, you know, so more than one run of epoxy. The slow set epoxy I used was Black Diamond, I believe. I'm sorry, I forgot the name, but it's not aluminite. Aluminite is a fast setting, so you need to use a pressure pot. Some of the problems I encountered with this, with the slow set, is you aerate the epoxy when you're mixing. So I do have, if you look closely behind the light there, there's some bubbles in there. Not supposed to show us. Yeah. I'm just telling you. So somewhere in there's bubbles. But I think you could get rid of that by degassing first. I saw somebody put it make your pressure pot into a vacuum pot, pull a vacuum on, and it effervesces, pull your air out. And then since it's slow set, you could pour it back in. So I haven't tried that yet, but I think that would work very well. So I tried that, but I would get a lot of bubbles at the top. It'd be foamy. You just couldn't get rid of it. You know, it just. Hold it up, maybe. Or? Let's see if I can just rotate a little bit. There's some big gaps in there. I used, you know, this is just red and blue to make purple, and then added some of the pearl stuff.
What's the finish on that, Tom?
Spray epoxy, sprayed lacquer. And this one you can kind of see, I actually went in later and filled in, didn't quite match the color there, but it's not too bad. Boy, it's hard to, there we go.
Nice, very nice.
Okay.
This is when I bought my lathe from Dave Phillips. He was very generous and gave me 2 or 3 pieces of wood along with it. And that was probably 3 years ago. So finally I got to a big piece, and I felt like I was a little bit packing my parachute when I was jumping out of the plane on this, because I put on the lathe, I could make the outside, no problem, but then when I got to the inside, I needed to support it, and that's when I think I got a hold of you and talked about a rest, right? And then Ron gave me one, and I got it from him so I could finish the project. And I also had to build an extension, a really long cantilevered tool rest, because I couldn't get inside and support my tool rest. So every step along the way, I had to sort of invent myself around the problem. So it turned out good. I like it.
If we ever have a tips and jigs, you need to bring in that cantilevered tool rest.
Yeah, sure.
You can see how you did that, because I struggle with that sometimes.
Yeah, good.
Very nice. Very nice.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Joshua. I'm a new member. I became a member the last time that we were in the jam last summer, and I take classes with Ken at Woodcraft, and I have a very small lathe, so it's a pen turning lathe. That's why this is so short. 7 inches is the tallest I can turn. And this is a multi-axis spindle. So basically, what we saw from Barbara Dill in December, this is turned on 3 axes, and then I only finished the first time. So when I made it round, and that finish is general finishes wood oil, and afterward, so I do not have the thing yet that she used to sand. Sand after the sand in the end, so my lathe does not have a face plate, so I'm going to work on that later. Yeah. Oh, and the wood. So I think this is cherry. I'm not sure about woods yet, but I got 1 box of the wood from the Larry Truss estate, so this was out of that.
Very nice. Good job. Nice job.
So I found this just in the side of the road and brought it home and turned it down. It's a little bit thick, but it's working and my technique's getting better. So slowly but surely. So for turning for a year, I think I'm doing okay.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, that looks like the end of show and tell. Dave, do we have a winner for the online? Do we have a President's Challenge online? I forgot to state that. Bruce?
I don't know. So us people in the Zoom room, is there a President's Challenge piece to show or not?
We have I forgot we have President's Challenge yet. I kind of messed up here. So we do have President's Challenge here. Do we have any online? Let's do our President's Challenge here, and if somebody online has one, they can do it. Daryl, you didn't show us your big piece there. You don't want to show that, Daryl? Hand me Daryl's piece. Pete, hand me his piece there, so we can. If he doesn't want to come up here, we'll. You can just, yeah. Yeah, we're going to force Daryl to show this. He's being all shy in the back of the room. So.
When did that happen?
So, yeah. What is this, 16 inches, 17 inches across there, Daryl?
Didn't measure it? No. It's a piece of white oak. Every time I take a tree for firewood, I save some pieces and try to make something out of it. That's what this is. It's a crotch piece. And the center part is a little white oak burl that I just sliced off the side of some other piece of firewood. It's actually more carving than it is turning. The turning is simple and it's fun. I like the circular form of a bowl To me, it's kind of like a little world that I can do my carving in and create an image that way. I've done a number of these trees like that. Basically turn the inner or the outer form first. And I'm sorry, I turn the outer form on the back first and hollow it, and then come back from the front to leave a void in behind. I can fit a piece in that way, hang it up. Very nice. And go on to the next.
Very nice.
Nice, really nice.
Okay, now we're going to do our President's Challenge. So if you're in the room here, you got President's Challenge, bring it on up.
But there's none in the Zoom room.
None in the Zoom room, okay. Okay, you're just, yeah, we're kind of with that camera right there, I think. Yeah, you're there.
Oh, anyway, okay. Where are my spots here? Anyways, just another one of the pencil boxes that were demonstrated.
Did you do the 3D print on that?
Yes, the band is, right.
How many pencils are in there?
None right now.
Is this a number 2 or a number 1?
That's as I say, if number 2 is the most popular pencil in the world, why is it number 1?
Cool.
We'll take it apart. All right. We have another one coming up.
So if we don't have anyone online with President's Challenge, is that correct?
No, we don't.
So Charlie Fuentes.
Charlie Fuentes, you won the woodcraft certificate. We will get that off the mail to you.
Okay, thank you.
That's my pencil. I almost would like to see his. Mine's smaller. I went a little bit out of the context of what the president could be, or number 3, whichever way you want to think about that. So the top is just kind of a small twist. Let's see if we can get some. Where would I be? There we go.
There you go.
So, and I do have a 3D printer, and that's that's my original design there. So that's it.
Cool.
Okay, that now concludes President's Challenge and our show and tell.